Sidekick as a board break. In the Ninja Fit curriculum, this is going to come at the advanced blue belt level, but no matter what level you're at, you're working on Sidekick at a board, for a board break, a few different things you need to be knowledgeable of, okay? I'll accept it as any of these three kinds of sidekicks. If sidekick is your requirement, you can do it as a pickup sidekick, so that front leg closer to the target or closer to the board just picks up, kicks through it. As long as you know you're close enough to the target to be able to kick through the board and bash through the board, then I'm okay with that. You can do it as a slide sidekick. So you gotta be picking up that front leg and pushing and sliding off that back leg at the same time. The third version is a step through. That's a little bit different. Some people do this real fast. It becomes kind of a hop. I prefer, especially at this level, as we're still kind of getting used to our power and our focus, just doing it as a step. So if I'm going to do a step through, I'll get whatever foot's my breaking foot in front of me, right between me and the target. Then I'll step that back foot behind my front foot. And I've got my heel already pointed at my target, so that's my pivot. What I'm still going to do is I'm still going to kick with this front leg, but I need to close some distance between it. All right, just a pickup side means I'd be right here, close enough to be able to hit it. Slide side means I'm a little bit further back. I'll still be close enough to hit it with a slight slide. The step through, maybe there's more distance I've got to cover, or I want a little bit more oomph behind it. I want to get my momentum behind it. So I'll do this here. I'll step that back foot behind my front, and I got that heel pointed at it already. My foot's pivoted. Then I'll bring that front leg up, throw my side kick in. Again, I just want to hit with my heel. That's good for a couple of reasons. If you want to add a little bit more momentum, you can get it. You can even get a lean going into it. I'll do that sometimes as I'm doing it. I'll work on lean my weight into that. That way, by the time I hit my target or hit the board, I'm not leaning back anymore. If I started leaning forward, then I do a little bit of lean back to bring my leg up for my flexibility. Then I become more straight instead of I start straight, then I end up back. So that's another way of doing it. If that's tripping you up a little bit, just to bring that back foot behind, you can even move that front foot out of the way. You can make an extra step first. A forward step, kind of out of the way, then a behind, then the kick. Okay? That's the step through sidekick I would use for it sometimes, depending on what's comfortable with you. Practice all three versions at home and figure out what's comfortable for you. We'll get a chance to practice these in class too, but the more you do the practice outside of the classroom, the more you understand your body and because I'm only going to give you suggestions. It needs to be a sidekick of some kind. You're going to be the one that tells me which one you feel most comfortable with that you think you can break with. If your students practicing at home, I'd love to have something big to practice on first, whether it's a wave master, a bob, or a hanging bag. All right, if you've got the ability to take some little electrical tape or something and put little X's on there, give them a specific target for their heel, for their move. All right, I'm not going to let this count if I just practice all day and maybe my belt level or my kicking level, my optimum kicking level is right here, but I keep kicking down here. I'm not going to count that. I'm not going to say that's preparing me for board breaking, because if I tell the board holders to hold right here and I kick down here, I'm either missing the board or I'm kicking their fingers. Either way, the board's not breaking. So I got to pick a specific target, and I want to give myself 10 tries on that leg to work on getting my heel right there with good power. I'm not going to count it if I'm just kicking and the bag's barely moving. It's got to be something that would jolt someone. A board break is a traumatic event. It's enough. It should be enough. It's the equivalent of breaking someone's bone in their body, just depending on how many boards you're holding. Depends on kind of which bone it would compare to. So a little bit of a jostle isn't going to be enough. I've got to be able to get a fast enough kick out there, and I want to make sure I straighten my leg all the way up too. This, just kicking to the target and stopping isn't going to help. I didn't even let my leg go all the way straight. That's what gets me through the target. Okay, but it can't be a push. So parents, if you're helping your student practice at home, I don't want a push. It needs to be fast. It needs to be something that would jolt someone's system. And I want to try to practice hitting the same spot. If I give myself 10 tries, I'll let myself pass and move on from this target to a smaller target if I can get it 8 times out of 10. in that same spot. So wherever I'm aiming for, might be a spot, a certain letter on the word, might be in the middle of the X or something like that. If I can hit that 8 times out of 10 on the big target, then I'll shift, I'll shift to a medium-sized target. And this one still has an X on it, or I can give myself a specific letter in there, in that word to aim for, and someone's holding it for me at home, I want to work on that exact same thing. I pick up side, slide side, whatever. It's the same kick as I just practiced on this, and I want to make sure I'm not just going too light, too wimpy. I want to have the same impact and strength and power behind that I had when I was doing it on something big. Okay? And I'm not going to let it count. Moms and dads, if you're holding, learn to sense where the kick is just by the feel. The target, the shield or whatever, the pillow you're holding or whatever goes off this way, well then I didn't hit it right in the middle. If it comes over this way, I did not hit it right in the middle. So you can be their helper and their trainer at home and helping them practice by learning how to judge the field. Even if you actually need to put your eyes on the target and watch it. Watch where their foot lands as they do it, so you know whether they're hitting too low, too high, just right in the middle. Maybe they're hitting flat-footed and you don't know how that feels yet versus when they hit with their heel. Watch their foot. Help them learn that stuff. If they're hitting flat-footed, tell them, look, your whole foot's on it. You gotta get just the heel. That's all I want touching it on a sidekick is just the heel. In order to make that happen, one more thing you can help me watch for at home as they're practicing is this base foot, the one that's not kicking. Make sure it's pointed the opposite way of my target. All right, it's got to have that pivot. If it doesn't have that pivot, my body's not going to line up and be as strong, in as strong a position as it could be. My toes pointed this way and I still throw a side kick. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big guy. I can still probably push somebody back, but I'm going to really have a better chance of pushing them back and getting them off me. If I got my foot pivoted here, my body just locks out in a stronger position when I throw that kick this time. All right, because it's the semantics of it. That's what it is. All right. So then they get that 8 times out of 10 with the heel, a good pivot, power. They're not just backing off from it. They're not going, oh yeah, but they're going and they're 8 times out of 10. They're hitting the same spot and with good power, driving force going into it. Then switch to a smaller target. Give them something smaller. When I hold for someone doing sidekick, I point. If I got a hand target like this, I point the teardrop part of it in the same direction as their kicking toes will point. That way, their toes don't come back here and end up jamming my fingers up. And the same thing here. Now they've got to figure out on an even smaller target. They've already had chances to practice and develop their accuracy, and we've got a 3-month cycle before they got to do this at board breaking. So they got plenty of time to get used to this. But they need to get used to that same thing here. And don't back off from this and just say, okay, well, since it's a small target, I'm going to do a wimpy kick and let that count. That's not going to count. I'm not going to slow it down just to get my accuracy and make sure I got my heel in the middle. A slow kick's not going to work. It's not going to break. I got to make sure I'm still going fast, still hitting hard, and hitting right in the middle of that target. So 8 times out of 10, they get that down good, then I will hold a board for them. In class, whether it's a breakable board, for a board break clinic or something, but I really dislike holding boards for people if they haven't prepared themselves and practiced and worked themselves up to this level to where they can hit it 8 times out of 10 on a smaller target. Then I don't mind holding a board for them and getting my fingers in the way, because there's a lot more chance they're going to just nail the board and go through it than nail me. So that's the advanced blue belt board breaks, side kicks, all the 3 different levels we can do. Pick up side, slide side, and step through side on all 3 different target sizes.